Hey, you all. It's not really spring for another month, but I'll tell you what, it is super nice out today. So, happy spring anyway. Today, I wanted to just talk about why forgiveness isn't something that we do for other people, although it's nice when that can happen, but it's really something essential that we can do for ourselves. And it's not always easy, right? But to forgive means to release, and to release means to flow, and to flow means to live life like you want to live it. And that is pretty awesome when that can happen. So, forgiveness plays into a lot of different areas of our lives, and it's great to learn how to forgive somebody. So that's what we're going to talk about today, forgiveness. Hey everybody, it's Ann O'Connor from Metamorphics, where we help you become who you want to be. And, you know, maybe forgiveness isn't something that you've been able to do for someone or something that's happened. And there's lots of different ways. So I want to talk about who do we need to forgive and why, and what we need to forgive and why. You know, apparently this is the street where school buses come down. So I don't know if you can hear that. That was pretty loud for me. I think the thing about forgiveness is that we kind of get caught up in maybe some of this thinking that if I forgive somebody, then maybe I'm saying it's okay what happened. Or maybe we're saying it doesn't matter anymore. Or maybe we're saying, you know, I'm going to forget what happened. Or maybe we're saying, you know, maybe our fear is that we're saying, I'm going to allow this in my life. And forgiveness isn't any of those things. Forgiveness isn't allowing, it's not approval, it's not acceptance, it's not about saying, you know, I approve, you can treat me this way. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is about, I mean, I said it wasn't about acceptance, but what it's not about is accepting bad behavior. But what it is about is accepting that human beings have bad behavior sometimes. They just do. And if we're not going to forgive every human being that has ever had bad behavior, then we're kind of out of luck, because we all have bad behavior at one point or another. And I hear you, some bad behavior is worse than others. So that's where it gets a little tricky, right? And some bad behavior is ongoing. So you might forget something and then, more bad behavior comes. And I get that too. That's why all these things get really tricky. But I will still say that forgiveness is worth pursuing. Because what forgiveness is about allowing yourself to be okay despite being hurt. Forgiveness is about creating the life that you want despite these setbacks or the circumstances. Forgiveness is about saying, wow, that was really lousy, but I am not going to let it stop me in my life. Forgiveness is about accepting that we are human and we are going to fall down. So I want to talk about, for me, one of the things that was really the hardest to forgive was myself. And I remember at one point in my life looking back at some of the ways that I'd behaved in a relationship and realizing, like, wow, that is so not who I wanted to be. And how did I become that? And what happened that I allowed myself to be having those behaviors? So it was very humbling and very difficult. And, sometimes yesterday, if you go back and look at my video from yesterday, it was about anger and how you use anger. And that's been a huge thing in my life. And so I thought it was really appropriate to do something on forgiveness today, because sometimes when we misuse anger, we really have to work on our forgiveness. And that, as with many, many things, a lot of times that our forgiveness has to start with ourselves, right? When we're jerks, when we behave badly, when we play the victim, when we don't stand for what we know is right, when we say things we don't mean. Part of what is really hard to get over is, understanding that we messed up. Oh my God, it's very hard, right? So, but when we can forgive, we can say, okay, yeah, well, welcome to the human race, right? So here you are, and you, like everybody else, is so capable of messing up. And then when we start to get really used to that, maybe this isn't true for the rest of you, but for me, I got to work on this all the time because I'm like, oh, I did that. Okay, shoot, sorry about that. And, I've gotten better over time, really. It works that way with more practice. But, I have to apologize for things all the time. And maybe you don't have to that much. But I find myself thinking, like with my kids, I'll say, I don't want to actually speak to you that way. And I did, and I'm sorry. And thankfully, their forgiveness is for the most part, at this point in our lives, it's a very easy practice for them. It's very easy. And for myself too, I remember when I used to screw up things, especially in my parenting, where my kids were so important to me, and then I would do this stupid thing, and I would think, oh my gosh, Ann, you've destroyed them, you've ruined them. And I would really pound on myself for a long time. And it's not effective for anybody. It doesn't really do anybody any good. And over time, I began to just step back and see a bigger picture and realize that everybody screws up, and so you got to get on with it, and you got to forgive yourself. So now when I screw up, I say, oh, yep, there. That's right. That's what you do. And then I move on. And so forgiveness is about saying to yourself, I accept this. It's about saying to other people, hey, this is where I went off the rails, and I'm sorry, and this is what I can do to fix it. What else do you need? Right? So forgiveness is a two-way street in every single situation. It really is. Because if you have something that you have to apologize for, chances are you've got to forgive yourself for it too. So that is what I have for you today on forgiveness. I hope that you are actively practicing forgiveness because it's so good, it's so healthy for you to work through those things. Don't let them linger. Don't let them flit about you either in your own mind or in your relationships. They do cause damage, and it's so much easier to just clear that path and move along. So do that, and like this video if you like it, and share this video, and like my page. And tomorrow is my 30th day of 30 lives in a row, so that's pretty exciting. Thanks for being here with me. It's Ann O'Connor from Metamorphics, where we help you become who you want to be, and we'll see you tomorrow.